required for our cement industries. As Mr. Singhi mentioned, that is not anymore hard to abate, is possible to abate. So we will be looking for that, how this can be worked together to make things happen. I was very happy to see that Mr. Nagori mentioned that in the morning that India has been taken a very early stage steps in 2012 when this low carbon technology roadmap was set up for Indian cement industry, and I'm very proud to see that what has been achieved. You have seen the numbers which given by the Kuriji in the morning is tremendous, and I'm sure that our international members also will be recognizing that the number which we talked today morning was not a what you call a easy to achieve, but our industry has managed to demonstrate what can be done in shortest period of time. This low carbon cement, low carbon technology roadmap was developed with the International Energy Agency, Cement Sustainable Initiatives, and the CII and National Council for Building Materials. They come together and set the roadmap for us. In this, basically 5 levers was defined. And we can say that all the 5 levers we have excelled and we have achieved significant achievement, which is the new pillar, which is called the 5th pillar, which is the new technologies for renewal, novel cement, carbon capturing and storage utilization is one of the area which is coming in front of us. And cement industry is committed, and a number of things has been done. I think we will ask this question to all panelists later on to give the perspective on this. And if I give it like a whole perspective of this to make it, so we have 1.12 tons of CO2 in 1996 for cement. By 2017, we have 0.67. So almost 60% reduction has been achieved very short period of time. And if I'm not, because I don't have the validated numbers, but we are currently running about 0.6 or below 0.6 as an industry average, maybe a bit lower than that. So with this matching the objective of Prime Minister and all the, I will ask the question to our industrial players, how we have achieved so far and where we see ourselves. So my question first goes to all the cement manufacturers first. So let me start, Akurisi, with you. My question is that, what do you see the Indian cement industry position to achieve the net zero emission by 2070? And what are the key areas and milestones you foresee in this journey?
Again, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Raju. This is not an easy question, and one can go on and on about this for many, many hours. But let me put it in 2 or 3 compartments. First of all, let me admit and admit it little with a lot of seriousness that whatever we are doing today is good for environment, but is also good for business. There would be a time which we'll see it will be good for environment, bad for business. And that's the part which all of us as sitting leaders of this industry, we have to figure out once things comes when it is going to be more expensive than what we imagine it to be, what will be the mitigation ways. Yeah. There's a lot of youngsters sitting here, so I must also say that if you are seeing the same CEO sitting about 20 years back, maybe this was not the topic. There were many other topics, not this topic. So even we are new to this topic. Let's say this topic is about 10 years old of net zero and what to do about it. And as industry leaders, be it a customer or be it the shareholders, this is a serious question being asked. What are you doing about net zero? As an industry, we have worked on 3-4 parameters, 3-4 areas. The first area was, what can we do with our power? Is this possible to have green power instead of the normal thermal power? And I think Indian cement industry was one of the first which introduced the WHRS as a technology in the industry. that WHRS, Waste Recovery System, can help you to convert part of your thermal power requirement from waste heat recovery. But we did not stop here. I think as an industry, we have also done a lot more on solar, on hydro, on wind. And I think every company has done it. In fact, if I talk about Shri, today 55% of the total power consumption that we have is from green sources. Yeah. So on power, we have done a lot, but still 55 means 45 is still thermal. Yeah, that is also the other way to look at it. So we have to do a lot more. The third area where we started working was on the heat. How do you replace the fossil fuels? And I think about many years back, the first signs of what can be the alternate fuel started happening. Today, as a country, as I said, we are about 7% alternate fuel. Alternate fuel could be very difficult fuel called RDF. It could be easier fuel called liquid hazardous waste. It could also be many other varieties. But I think as an industry, we are pushing ourselves. How do we reach about 25%? And then in future, also much higher than that. In fact, my colleague and my senior partner, Mr. Singhi, is sitting, and there are plants in India which are burning more than 40% as well. There are plants in India which are burning more than 40%. We have an establishment in UAE where we started last year. We are already reaching 30%. So it is possible to convert an accelerated pace, a lot of fossil fuel replacement through alternate fuel. But I'm still convinced that there are a lot of other waste streams that we do not know about, and that we need to, both private and government has to work together. Can we identify more such waste streams which can be used by cement? In fact, somebody was telling me right today morning that what you see in Delhi because of Pareli burning, one of the ways can this Pareli go in a cement kiln? And therefore, maybe Delhi can be much more cleaner than what it is today. Yeah? Having done this, but there are also challenges. We know we are not still reaching that net zero. We will possibly reach 50-60% reduction, but not net zero. So there are two areas where we need to work. One is, can we use electricity in the kiln to totally replace fossil fuels? And I think some work has been done globally. I know of at least one company in Europe which is helping us to think about it. Yeah. And second is, of course, the green hydrogen. What can we do? The second part is there a way to capture the carbon? And so a lot of work is being done on carbon capturing, but still it is not come up to what I would call the industrialized scale. And therefore, I think before me, when Mr. Sanjeev was here, one of the initiatives, Raju, which is on us working with startups, and we have signed one with the Department of Industries. I think we need to take help from the startups, not only in India, but also outside India. Can they help us in these 2-3 areas where we are still not very clear of the roadmap, how to do it?
Excellent, sir.
This would be my say. So we are doing good. We have reached a lot, but still miles to go.
Thanks, sir. I think it's a wonderful journey. I'll come back to you later. So, Singh sir, if I ask you the same question to you, so where we see that our industry for net zero by 2070, and what are the areas and milestones you see to achieve it?
Great. Thanks, Raju. Happy afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think for the same question, very rightly, almost all answers have been given by our leader, Neeraj ji. But at the same time, I think what we have to understand is, though the target of India to become net zero by 2070 is already there, what target we should have? It's not necessary that you should also have the target of 2070. You can have any target, but not beyond 2070. So to create confidence in each other, as well as with all stakeholders, friends, we may have to take a target that I may be going net zero by 2040, 2045, 50, 55, 60. And that will give a great confidence, not only to all the stakeholders, but to our own people. The reason being that until unless we put net zero strategy as part of our business strategy, we will not be able to achieve it. And most of the time I do say that the climate strategy today, in today's context, climate strategy is the best business strategy. So why not we think of any target before 2070? And in this context only, our company Dalmia Cement, we targeted that by 2040, we would be net zero carbon and carbon negative. And that too, this commitment was given in 2018, when this was not being talked about, and this company was one of the few in the world who could talk about that, who could think about that. And the benefit of that strategy and that global commitment was that today we could reach to a level where we are one of the lowest carbon footprint cement company globally. And by identifying various levers which Neeraj has highlighted, I think these are the levers by which you can be net zero. Now, the most important question is how to do it. Because one, we said that there's a strategy, there's a commitment that we'll do it. How to do it? So maybe 50% we may be able to do it by renewable power, by non-fossil fuel, by electrification of cement process. But what about 55 or 60%? So before I come to some technical point, in cement industry, 8 to 12% may be scope 3 emission, which has also to be tackled, which is not being talked about so far. So we have to address supply chain and also have to work for 8 to 12%. Though this figure being lower, we may not be required to be reporting it, but then we have to work on it. Now, one of the possible big lever which I see is if Indian cement sector can migrate, can transform from 73% blended cement to 100% blended cement, or I should say now low carbon cement. And low carb, you all are expert, you know that OPC generates around 900 kg CO2 per ton of cement. It may be 50 here and there. Whereas PPC is lower, slag cement is more lower, composite cement around between PPC and PSC, L3C maybe PPC and between PCC. So the point is that if we are able to address 27% OPC, then friends, I have not done the exact calculation, but it can bring down our CO2 emission of the cement sector. Like you said, below 600. Just by this one action, we can bring down by 120 to 140 kg.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir.
Yes. So this is one area where I think we should think as a sector. No single company will be able to do it, but maybe under the leadership of NCBM and CMA and all this, because it's for global good. And ultimately, we have to do good to be good. So this is one area where we should work on. Second, the technology which is being talked about and which is being looked at, a very costly technology, which is how to capture carbon dioxide, and then maybe how to use it or to put it in sequestration or storage. Now, if you are able to identify the right usage, then maybe by selling that right material, we can bring down the cost of operation of CCU. So we have to look at that. And second, another point on CCU is that if CCU product can go or captured carbon dioxide can go for electrification or for mineralization, then definitely it can also earn carbon credit. As most of you must have read that now with this COP29 decision that carbon credit mechanism has to be operationalized within 1 year, Article 6. So there would be possibilities that how this can be done. So based on this, I think we have to work on this so that we always try to follow the philosophy of clean and green is profitable and suitable. Last 2 points. One, how we can have collaboration. Collaboration amongst us also for technology, collaboration amongst academia, research institute, as well as the government. Because our goal is same, that we have to give confidence to our people, to all stakeholders, and particularly when I think, I do say that I have to give confidence to my grandchildren, Navya, Naisa, Nivan, and Nevi, that I am working for you for your better future. So friends, I think collaboration would be very, very useful, and the collaboration with the startups also. Sanjeev ji, he is a staunch supporter of startups. Then definitely whatever problem we have, if we can pose it to the startups, maybe for CCU, maybe something. And then, like electrification. In electrification, one good example is that we could collaborate with the support of Sweden government, RE Sweden, and Saltex to find out some solution to put up some demonstration case that this is also possible. So friends, I think first has to be how do we commit ourselves, how this become part of a strategy, and then how we do implement it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I think very explorative. I will come back to you, sir, for I have picked 2 questions from this. I'll come back to you, sir. So, Kulatra Saab, if I come to you by asking the same question to you, how do you see the Indian cement industry position to achieve net zero by 2070? And what the milestone or areas you think we should be focusing on? What the thing?
So I think, so first of all, of course, my colleagues here have been speaking about most of the things which I could have also, repeated, which I, in the sake of brevity and, helping the organizer to minimize the loss of time. So I won't repeat the fundamentals, which I do not by any standard, are different from what I would see it. For example, increasing the percentage of, siliceous materials or reducing energy consumption itself, because lower you consume, the better it is. So on these factors, I think we are in the same, similar, I would say, position. As an individual or the whole cement industry, when we try to talk, or rather the cement and building materials, then we have to think of many more things. For example, we have to look at the construction itself, the end objective being having the complete auditorium, not only supplying cement for it. So where I think we need to perhaps do much more is perhaps to try have some kind of a framework to have better cooperation in terms of you could make more, say for example, blended cements. You also need users, for example, to be able to use what do they need in terms of construction. In terms of where we see ourselves, I would say it's a very large landscape. So you would have the largest companies and you will have the smallest companies. So in our case, we have 2 single unit plants somewhere in Gujarat, basically $1.5 million each, Saurashtra and Gujarat City. So for a smaller or a medium-sized company, there are many of us. The challenges may be different. So each one has to do his own journey to reach the ultimate destination. Sorry. So what I was saying was that for individually, when you take about the cement industry, it is one position, and when you talk about individual companies, because there are many companies, big and small companies, and different stage of technologies. So for example, our plant would have been set up, one of the plant is 75-year-old, and the other plant is, say, 50-year-old, and they're both running. Of course, we modernize from time to time. So as far as doing things which are helping us to reach the objective, I don't see there is any major difference. I think most people I know who are in the industry agree fully that having a target with a date, with a number is the first part. It is like either you call it a vision or a dream or a objective. On that, I think there is complete enthusiasm and interest. Each one of us will have to, pass his own challenges. In companies which are comparatively smaller, there are issues of, policy in terms of capital efficiency, because the cost of capital is different for different size companies and different businesses. So as far as our preparedness is concerned, whatever is directly turning to the current level of returns above the cost of capital, it is very straightforward. But where it is little more than that, I think we need a lot of more activity in terms of having a framework, and they are all interlinked. It is not just only manufacturing. Sourcing of raw materials, say for example, getting limestone, getting consistent materials. So everything has got its own sourcing of siliceous materials, say fly ash, the method of transporting. So all these things, when you want to really extend it to the industry, we have to look at how do we take the top 10 companies as well as the next 80 companies along with us. And I think each one of us has to have a little more, I would say, support from everybody else. Technology, I think we have very good support from NCBM. So whenever there are individual challenges, we come to NCBM, and I think they have done a very exceptionally good job. They help us in identifying materials, metallurgy, and technology. As far as the financial side is concerned, there are hurdles in terms of government policies, in terms of how do you source materials and who bears the cost of processing the waste materials, to what extent it can be done currently. So I think there are a lot of things yet to be done. But I would say we are all we confidently believe that we will be all reaching somewhere together. We may be starting from different levels, but we will all reach, and we'll have to do different things to reach the same destination.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Sir, same question to you, Ramarao sir.
Yeah.
So where do you see our path?
Good afternoon. I think looking at the paucity of time and giving weightage to all my senior colleagues who have very severely expressed the views, I will stick to only 2 points which I want to reiterate at this forum. As rightly said by Neeraj Akori sir, we as an industry, we are very strong and we are very effectively doing all the activities which are not only bringing down my CO2 reductions, but also improving our bottom line in terms of business-friendly initiatives, whether it is clinker factor reduction, it is waste heat recovery, renewable energy, we talk about alternate fuels. But the areas where we need to have more focus, as rightly pointed out by Singhi sir, that the use of blended cements, because if you really look in a very micro level, the trends which are happening today in the Indian cement industry, actually the trend is becoming reverse. The blended cements percentage is slowly coming down. We need to address this issue because that is one area where the major amount of CO2 reduction can happen. I strongly believe that AFR is becoming very popular in this nowadays, and then we are sourcing a lot of RDF, which is the main source of alternate fuel. But having said that, there is a area where we need to address immediately, because the moment we go beyond 25% TSR, then we talk about the majority of the impurities coming in the RDF is chlorine. So we are putting chlorine bypass, but today, as an industry in India, we don't have a regulation which talks about how to deal with this high chlorine material. So I think this is one area where we need support from not only the regulation, but also the industry has to do it. Otherwise, we will not be able to go beyond certain percentage of AFR in order to bring down our CO2 reduction, but also in terms of reducing the cost. The third area where we are still in a very nascent stage is the capturing the carbon and then utilizing it in other activities. Lot of tie-ups are happening nowadays, but still we need to put more efforts in this direction. And finally, when we talk about the construction industry, I think we need a lot of collaboration from them in order to propagate all those CO2 reduction initiatives which are coming from the manufacturing sector. Thank you.
Thanks, Rasab. So let me move to the Narang Saab from the industry. Narang Saab, same question to you. How do you see our cement industry by achieving net zero by 2070, and what the pathway we think?
Hello. Good afternoon, my dear colleagues from the cement industry family and the dignitaries sitting on the dais here. Actually, most of the things have already been covered by my senior corporate colleagues and medium-sized colleagues. So, of course, I would not like to repeat all those things, but having spent, I think, the maximum number of years in the cement industry, out of 110 years what we talk about in cement in India, I have spent almost 60 years in this Indian cement industry, and I have seen the cement industry from the days where I feel a little jealous of the people working in cement industry of today. Because when I started my career way back in 65, my pocket used to be full of cement when I used to come home from the factory. That was the status of cement industry. And as it was told by Harivansh Raj's poem, "Koshish karne walon ki haar nahi hoti," the cement industry vision what we see today, either because of energy efficiency or because of environment or because of green belting, everything we have, or the targets what have been fixed by the government for cement industry. We have done the excellent work as a whole, cement industry as a whole. And I think most of the cement industry is very proactive, even whether small scale or big scale. Of course, Mr. Galotra is a little worried about medium scale, but I think medium scale also has contributed equally well to the vision of the cement industry or vision of the government in achieving the carbon dioxide reduction. So I think the targets what we are fixing, net zero by 70, with my experience of last 60 years, I think these targets can be achieved and will be achieved, I think, with the whole support of cement industry, and not only cement industry, but the cement technology suppliers also have been equally responsible for achieving our targets. And all these technology suppliers sitting here, I request them to see that whatever technologies are happening in all over the Europe or US, we should try to make it feasible in India also with their support at affordable price. Because affordable price is one area where I think cement industry is in need of the hour today. So I think the target is possible. Already we are achieved very, compared to our friends in US or Europe or US, we are very well off. So far as energy efficiency is concerned, or the use of blended cement is concerned, but where we are lacking is use of AFR and use of supply chain, as Mr. Singhi Saab has said. These two areas, and also the research R&D which is going on in Europe and other countries, because my colleague, Mr. K.N. Rao, has been very actively associated with all the forums of GCCA, CMA, and CII. And we have seen that a lot of R&D activities are going on abroad compared to what is happening in India. There, our challenge is how to expedite or accelerate those R&D activities. And I request LP Singh Saab to see that all those technologies are brought to India also at affordable prices. That's the area where I think greatest challenge is there today. Thank you.
Thanks, Narang Saab, giving a very big perspective. So let's move from the manufacturing to that, if we can do the decarbonization or net zero, how the market will perceive. So my question goes to Dr. Katrina. So how do you see the demand of low carbon products can be enhanced? And what process or initiative you will propose to promote the greener products?
Thank you very much for the invitation to be part of this honorable panel. The demand, all the actually predictions are saying the demand will increase, and especially when you look at the green concrete, which is actually based on the alternative binders. So this is in this direction we have to go. So it's this market when we are looking at all the publication, it's going to be double or even more. So it's, not in 2070, but just in some few years from today. So I would say this needs to be developed. and it needs to be used. But as we know, the cement market is actually local market. You are a great or huge producer of cement in this country. So, but you have also access to other type of SEM. So it's, I would say, the use. It's not only production of cement. You need to cooperate. I would say it's. I would say the market will be dependent on cooperation between the producers and end users, because it's not only the volume of produced cement which will influence the carbon dioxide emissions. It's also how we use the cement. Yeah. So I think it's there are some few points, and I agree with all of you concerning the way to lower the CO2 emissions, but I would say it's the use. It's also important. So it's to looking at the end users, how they will see the construction market, because you are producing cement for construction market. So it's this is where the demand will come. And on the other side, because you are talking also about economy, so economy is of course a very important factor, but I would say in Europe, I'm coming from Europe, from Sweden, a small country which is producing not much cement, but we have the same problem, challenges. So we need to solve this question, and independently of the dimension. So this is what we are doing, and we are looking for different materials. And I would say the market and the demand, you can create the market. So
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Katrina. Dr. Singh, I will just extend the same question to you from the scientific or scientist eyes, how to increase the demand of the green product, and what process we should be following for that.
Good afternoon. Since the moderator is from industry, so he asked same questions to all the industry people. But when it came to me, I was preparing my mind in that direction, but he smartly changed his question that how. See, as far as low carbon products are concerned, see, the end user is not bothered at all that how much carbon is embedded into its product. They only consider the cost. So the primary responsibility lies with the innovators or institutions like NCCBM. They need to produce kind of materials which are more sustainable and more environment friendly. Secondly, responsibility lies with the manufacturer that how they can produce material which has less embodied energy or that has lower carbon footprint. Third point, I will talk about from that, yes, there should be some government policies, like green policies like that, so that if we combine all these things, then only we can think of that how low carbon building materials or building products can be introduced to the society. And why we are talking all this is, you know, you can just Google climate clock. So the climate clock says that we have left with 1,700 days. So precisely it is 4 years, 230, 40 days like that, when we will get the global temperature 1.5 degrees centigrade. So there is no time left. We have to do from anything to everything. Yeah. So this is high time we should sit together where sustainable building materials has to come out from institution like NCCBM. Government should come out with green policies, and of course industries are already working there on thermal energy efficiency and every aspect, but how they can improve upon all these points. So that is the only way out. And as you ask about question about net zero by 2070. Yes, we have declared net zero by 2070, but probably we are still searching the roadmap for the same.
Yeah.
So it's time again that we prepare a roadmap. We have already, as you mentioned, that we have already achieved a journey of 1.12 ton of CO2 to 0.6, 50-60% we have achieved. But rest of the journey is very difficult because how to tackle the process CO2, that is the big challenge. And that's why we are discussing about carbon capture or sequestration and other technologies. And then probably newer things will come into the market. Professor Shah is sitting here. Probably he has coined a new term, carbon conscious concrete. So maybe down the line, 10 years back, we used to talk about the performance and durability of the concrete. Now we are talking about carbon conscious concrete. So if we only look that if cement can be net zero, looks difficult to me. But for me, I foresee that cement is the start material for a concrete. So if we put cement and concrete together, probably net zero might be possible. So that's
Thanks, Dr. Singh. So if I can summarize this all manufacturing versus the demand size. So what I learned from this discussion, I think energy transition is happening very big way, and that's the lever to go ahead for the decarbonization. And I think Singh sir mentioned the business strategy should include our objective of the net zero, which is going to be a key driver for us. And looking for the beyond scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 also should be also start looking for that. Then we talked about the collaboration will also help us to achieve our ambitions. And then product management, as you mentioned that Mr. Ramarao, and Kalhotra mentioned that one size will not fit for all. So it means we will have the customized or tailor-made technology or tailor-made approach will be required on this. And as Narang Saab mentioned that to learn best practice from outside and indigenize that to make it happen in our operations. Demand side, as you mentioned that, Katrina, I think this is very local, you're right, locally demand is there. And how this construction technologies and construction practices can increase the usage of the green products. And since you mentioned that about the policy and how this new, what you said, carbon conscious, I learned the new word today. So in that, so thanks, Professor Shah. So this is the things. So this will help us. So I see that today, if you ask my confidence as a sitting in front of you, I think we are very optimistic we'll achieve or we are very sure that achieve the net zero, but near future the near zero will be achieved definitely. Now I go for the rapid fire round based on the discussion what we built, and everybody will have the only 45 seconds to answer that. So I will start Narang Sam from you because I go to left to right now. So as you mentioned that policy will help us to build our ambitions of net zero by 2070. So how the industry can support policy makers to develop the policy for making this happen? 30 seconds, sir.
So that's my view is that already we have different forums to interact with the government. And I think as an industry, as I see, the forums are doing very well to interact with the policy makers. And all our efforts with the policy maker has to be further accelerated. That's my view. Further accelerated. There where this our organization like CMA, GCCA or CII and NCBM, they should help us to accelerate that process. Process is already there, but it should be accelerated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Katrina, I will go to you now. And as you mentioned, sir, the SCMs and things, can you just elaborate what are the key researches going on for the green product development and green product utilization?
We know that the most research actually is focusing on different types of clays. So pozzolana, but I would say we need to look for other waste or rest materials. there is quite a lot of going on with old material, which is now again used, which is volcanic ashes. So, this what I said is this local production is dependent on the local supply of the materials, because we have totally different geology all over the world, not only geology, but also the different type of industries which are producing the materials that can be used or reused.
Thank you. Dr. Saab, I keep you best for the last, so just wait for me. I will come back to you. Ramas, I will go to you. As we have discussed about the technology is required for decarbonization or net zero achievement, my question to you that how do you see that cement industry or companies are ready, and what they should be doing to accept their technologies? Just for 40 seconds, if you can tell us.
So when we look at your basic things which we are talking about technology, even though we are lowest energy consumption industry compared to majority of the countries, we still need to develop more technologies to bring down our energy consumption levels in terms of combustion process, especially when we are talking about more AFR utilization. I still believe that our combustion process needs a lot of improvement. Then only the industry will be able to take, because today if I talk about increasing AFR, the other thing which happens is that the overall heat consumption increases. So we need to develop those technologies. Then second thing, we are very confident about the technologies which are more related to CO2 reduction coming from the remaining 45% of the sources, whereas the calcination technology still remains a lot unattended, because majority of CO2 is coming from there. So identifying other alternate raw materials other than limestone, which can also be part of our cement clinker manufacturing process, that technology is still in a very, very nascent stage at India. We need to develop those technologies in order to totally eliminate calcination reactions inside the kiln. Electrification is one process, but also we are talking about alternate to limestone.
Thank you.
Identifying the industries which can give these kind of minerals.
Excellent.
Like for example, we are strongly working on a coal to PVC process where the calcium hydroxide sludge, which doesn't have calcium carbonate, so there is no calcination required. We are working on that project, which is going to, my estimation, with all the technologies involved there, we will be able to achieve a CO2 emission of less than 200 kg per ton of cement once that plant is under commission.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Close up, I'll come to you. As you also mentioned in your previous discussions, because different landscape of the industry's size and things, investment is very critical for the making this dream come true. So I just say that, I ask the question that how do you see that industry preparedness for the investment versus the sustainability?
See, industry, as far as what is needed, it's simple, in terms of the fact that we are over capacity and we are a fragmented business, that comes in the way of, something which is more, industry-wide planning or execution or financing for that matter. The fact that you are fragmented, the fact you have over capacity also results in, some kind of constraints on, what is a fair, reasonable pricing or whatever profitability you can get. So those kind of things I do not think are within the realm of this, forum to really debate on. But I would think that, trying to make it more attractive to invest, for investors. Suppose, for example, somebody lends money to a alcohol company or to a cement company, the cost of money is same, right?
Of course.
So there's no incentive to the financier to really support this versus that. So maybe if you have some kind of a differentiation that, if you, finance something which is more, other than, I'm talking about financially only, other than as far as an objective of making the earth a better place to live or the better place to pass on to our future generation, I don't think that goal is by itself too small. So I would assume that all of us are committed to that goal. But beyond that, you would also need to go into some smaller things, which I think would be discussed some other time.
Excellent. I'll come to you, Singhi Saab. As you mentioned the previous electrification of a kiln. So my question goes to that, what we have heard so far in the electrification, what the future you see that, and if I ask the very direct question to you, what time frame you think we will see the reality?
Time frame, 2 years.
Okay?
Future
Excellent.
is certain.
Excellent.
But at the same time, let me take 20 seconds
Yeah.
and let me ask these doers, the people who are sitting here, they will make net zero done. So how do people feel? Net zero possible? Yes? So this is the answer we want.
Yes.
That the people who are in Indian cement industry, who have to act, we may have to think, but they have to act. And when they are ready, then definitely in this session, we can conclude that net zero is possible. And it's a just time frame of, say, 20, 30 years. And lastly, I would say, let we all be conscious about cost of no action. And when I say cost of no action, it means if we don't take any action, there would be disasters, there would be deaths, loss of human life. Against that, whether not only cement industry or XYZ industry, but still whether we'll go on looking at profits only or we can balance something. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we have the very short period of time to finish it very quickly. So, sir, I come to you. So you have explained your energy transition journey, and I think the Vice mentioned that 55% of your coming from the WHRS and other renewable energies. So my question goes to that, what are the few takeaways from the journey what you had, and learning from that, how we can accelerate and make it faster than what we had in that based on the learnings you had? Some takeaways from that.
Yeah, so the way I see it, and this is what I'm saying, there are a lot of takeaways. Every time industry does an experiment, everybody learns from it.
Yes.
When we started doing WHRS, please understand, first 5 years, it was not an easy process. We also were risking almost to maybe beat the main system of the kiln, which was to produce clinker. But over the next years, we have all learned, and now WHRS is everywhere. It's not a technology topic or a technology constraint anymore. When we talk about alternate fuel, Raju, again, and I think Ramarao has raised some concerns. Chlorine is a major topic, and I think we also are seeing there are some issues around stability of the kiln when we go up on the alternate fuel journey. Yeah. But having said all that, the learning has been very fast.
Yes.
Yeah. If you look at it, alternate fuel today, at least 25% nobody doubts. 5 years back, 5% people will have doubt. Well, how to reach 5%? Today, 25% is a no-brainer. Yeah. And I like Mr. Singh's way of creating an electoral bond here. When everybody raises their hand, and I'm sure it is. But the next process, as in the past, was a collaboration, was with the technical community, with the scientific community, with academia, with the industries, with the leaders, everybody. And the same process will continue. Yeah. But I go with all of you. Is it possible? Of course, God damn it, it is possible. We can do it.
Yes.
We can do it. Yeah. That's not a doubt. My only topic would be how to accelerate it further. That's the only topic. Can we do it? Of course, we are going to do it. We all know we have to do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, Singh Saab, I keep one very small, simple question for you, because NCB sits between the academia and industry. I'm not sure whether academia or industry, I don't know, but you are sitting to that. So as I think in this whole discussion, we have found that we are looking for you. And you also mentioned that in your discussion that we need a cost-effective technologies and cost-effective solutions. So how as a scientist or as a sitting between the academia, industry, and the researchers, how do you see that? What are the challenges we have to provide the most economical, scalable, and sellable technologies, and what NCB see that can participate in the role?
We have very strategic position between academia and industry. So many a times we see academic research start from TRL 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Sometimes go 5, 6 level, but doesn't go to TRL 7, 8, 9, which industry requires. So we have a strategic position. So the answer to your question in word is innovate, collaborate, and demonstrate.
Excellent.
So we need to do innovation. So and I always feel NCB alone cannot do it. So there are institutions like IITs and ITs, they are doing a lot of innovations. So let us join hand with them together. Then take their innovations to the TRL level 5, 6, 7, discuss with the industry, demonstrate some pilot plant scale level so that a confidence is developed among the industry that yes, this particular innovation can take light of the day. So that is the only way out, and I think this is the responsibility of the NCCBM to bring together academy, industry together, and this is one such platform where we want to discuss all such research and innovation which can be taken to the what we ultimately looking for is net zero by 2070.
Just 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Just to support his point, in fact, we have floated one idea that there should be a global clean tech bank. Clean tech bank means that wherever, whatever technologies has come at the TRL level 3, 4, 5, let that be at one place, maybe at the UN level in UNFCCC or somewhere. And we have discussed this with a few directors of IIT, then globally also. So I think we'll have to move to that direction because the fight which we are having is with climate change, not with any country, not with any company. So jointly, totally, we have to work together. And then whatever idea can come from anywhere. And then let us come out from the IPR issue or XYZ issue, except that yes, whoever has done something good, they have to be acknowledged. Thank you. Sorry for time.
No, sir, thank you very much. Sir, I will take the 30 seconds more, sir. So, as we have seen that the discussion comes collaboration, adoption, new mindset or new adoption ways to look into that, as Mr. Amar mentioned that, and you mentioned the practical problems, how to solve them. And how this, I think I'm very happy to see that, Dr. Saab, because the industry, academia, and researchers like your team is joining hand to make it happen. So if I summarize this within the 10 seconds, as Kurisa gave the 10 seconds.
10 seconds before you summarize?
Yeah.
Because all the forum sitting here, we unanimously said that it's possible. But only thing, challenge what you will find, I mean, with my experience, that you have to convince your respective entrepreneurs or promoters that this is possible and this is achievable without affecting the profitability of the companies. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So if I can summarize this whole discussion of this for the benefit of the newcomers in this room, because we are the students. So I work on the visualization, so I said this is a triangle. So we have the technology on the top, then we have the funding and financing and the policies here. So I think a lot of work and research is going to happen into the technology part. What we need some research or innovations in financing and the policy adoption and policy makers also. And then we sit our cement into the middle of that, so we get all the three things to happen. And I believe that all these three levers, if we make it happen, 2070 can be before also. So thank you very much for all your ideas, sir. I think audience has taken a lot of inputs. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And thank you, Narang Saab and Singh Sir and Katrina for that. Over to you, Kokraji.
Hello. 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 So, thank you very much. And I think on the stage we can see the game changers of cement industry. So, big clap for them. So now it's my duty to present a memento to all the panelists. So I would request Professor S.P. Shah on dais to present the memento to Shri S. Rama Rao ji, Shri M.S. Gilotra ji, Shri Mahendra Singh ji, and Shri Neeraj Akhori ji. One more. Now I request Professor Mahesh Tandonji, please come on dais and present a memento to Shri V.S. Narangji, Dr. Katrina, Dr. L.P. Singh, and Dr. Raju Velji. So once again, thank you very much for all panelists for your valuable time. I would request if you can come here for one group photo, please. So there are some important announcements. Before announcing the lunch break, I would like to inform this hall having three parts. One like A, B, and C. Now we are sitting in A and B, and you can see behind this is white curtain. Once it will remove, it would be C. So in the next session, we have plenary session, and that would be conducted in the hall C. So this is one, we can say A, B, and C. At the at the entry of the hall, there would be clearly mentioned hall A, B, and C. So please don't confuse. And we will have lunch break, which is being hosted by Shri Cement. And we will again meet for the plenary session in hall C at 2:15. Sharp 2:15, we will start the plenary session. 2:15.